H2, hello, and welcome back to another episode of MB2 Underground. I am so excited that you're distilled here listening to our podcasts. We're excited to bring you more sparkling content. My name is Sarah Kiefer.
And I'm Jonathan Tyrock, better known as JT. Do you think we're going to need to filter anything from this episode?
I don't know. I'm feeling extra hydrated today.
Me too. I think I've mentioned I really have grown to love your intros, and I'm always impressed.
Well, I always wonder if people are like, what are we talking about today?
I think most are.
Okay.
I mean, I would be if I was one of our fine listeners. But
7 of them.
you know what? We're going to find out very quickly because today we've got a great guest. He is the president of ProEdge, Dental Water Labs. I was going to say Water Solutions, but ProEdge Dental Water Labs, Mr. Kelley Birschbach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate being here. That was impressive. Was that off the cuff or was that?
Oh, I have to prepare.
Okay.
I couldn't imagine. H2 hello was that one came to me on the drive-in. That is such a cool last
Very
name.
good. Thank you. It's German.
So is Kiefer, so I understand. Except yours is cooler than mine.
Mm.
Thanks for coming in. What are you in town for?
We're here for the Procurement Summit.
Oh, fun.
So to hang out with MB2 and play a little pickleball,
Yes.
maybe?
Hopefully injury-free pickleball.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you can play.
The audience can't see it, but I am wearing a giant boot right now from a pickleball injury from Saturday. I was joking that Levi brought me out here as a PSA for pickleball. That
This is why you sign waivers?
Yeah, it may seem accessible, but you gotta be careful out there.
See, I feel like you're sandbagging here. What really that is a cryo boot, and you're just getting that regeneration so you can come out and be like, hey, Levi, by the way, I'm good and I'm going to smoke you guys. Is that really what you're playing here?
I'm not
a hustle?
hustling. Yeah, no. I wish that was what it was. And I could break it out, like
Whoop-ah.
Clark Kent taking off his glasses.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. No, it's much more painful than that.
Man, foot injuries, not lower leg injuries, just period. Not great.
But
Not
being
great.
in a boot has its benefits. The last time I was in a boot, we went on a cruise and we just got through everything really fast.
Yeah, you get to go on the plane first.
Yeah.
You get a lot of sympathy. People are like, oh gosh, that's got to be bad. You don't have handicap parking right now, do you?
No, I did not go that far.
That's next level.
See, I'm not taking full advantage of this situation. This is why I'm here,
Yes.
right? For
Opportunity
these
areas.
insights.
Well, thank you for coming and joining the podcast, even though that's not technically what you're in town for. I know JT and I talked a little bit beforehand, but I think you had a very interesting pathway to where you're at in your career now. So can you kind of start us at the beginning of your career?
Sure. All the way back to college?
Let's do it.
All right.
I mean, you went all the way back to my college, so I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. Well, in college, I was studying journalism, and I thought, how great would it be to have a radio program and talk into a microphone and talk sports all the time. But when I was in college, I got real disillusioned with that whole world, as depending on what your leaning is. The world of journalism has changed over the years, and so I got real disillusioned with that and started actually mentoring with an at-risk youth who was living in motels in a tough area of Denver, and loved that. I loved working with kids and education, and so after college, went and started working for a nonprofit, working with kids, and used my journalism background. Actually, we were a small nonprofit, pitched that, hey, let's tell this story.
Yeah.
We were doing all this great work, and nobody really knew about it. So built a marketing department, but was doing that for 5 years. Tough work. You see a lot of stuff that is really brutal, and there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff. And anyway, the organization restructured. I ended up kind of burning out and leaving. And at that point, called my dad and I said, "What am I going to do? I have no marketable skills. I can't, what is this going to look like?" And my dad said, "You have no idea how hard it is to find good people." And so after that, people started asking me to do marketing projects. I actually went out on my own, kind of created a small agency, ended up merging with another one, and built from there. And we were kind of a hot little agency in downtown Denver, and ProEdge Dental Waters Labs was a client of ours.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so they ended up recruiting me to ProEdge. I came on as a marketing manager.
When you say recruiting, you mean stealing?
There's some tension there. There's a story there, but
Whoops. Okay,
yeah,
maybe
never.
off mic.
The plan was never dental, and the plan was never
It never
waterline maintenance. Right? I did not grow up. If you were hoping there was a greater story there, and that I grew up going,
passionate about those water lines.
I got to clear them out, get all that bacteria out of them. That wasn't the story. It was great people and a great culture and a purposeful mission, which I think you guys know a lot about here at MB2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the great people thing, that seems to be a recurring theme like in our podcast, as well as just, hey, nobody started in dental.
Yeah,
Or the intention was never to start here
Stumbling
or be
into
here,
it.
but we've all seemed to have found ourselves here, and we're still all here.
Well, not to just repeat all the things my dad taught me, but he said it's more important who you work for than what you do. And I'm sure everybody in this room is feeling, reverb there a little bit. You guys know how cool this is to work for MB2.
Yeah, especially because I don't think many people, this was their first job. So I feel like it's a really cool contrast to other employers too.
Yes.
Definitely.
And in dental.
Mm-hmm.
Like this culture is so unique. And, being here today, it's not just on social media. It's
IRL, if you will.
in real life.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, and the listeners, right? ProEdge Dental Water Labs. Like, what exactly do you all do? Give us a little bit more perspective there,
Sure.
and then I want to talk about I want you to finish the story of you came over in 2018, but you're definitely not in the same position you are today.
Yeah. So the dental unit is like a petri dish for bacteria. It's no different than the mouth, really. And so you got to maintain it, you got to clean it, you got to get all that bacteria out. Otherwise, that bacteria is going into the patient's mouth, and potentially, that bacteria can be pathogenic and create infections. And so, yeah. So ProEdge is the largest dental water lab in the world. Pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
About 80% of all waterline testing happens with or through ProEdge products. And so we're MB2's partner and from that preferred vendor in that perspective. And we provide the products and all the support and the CE. It's a relatively new area of infection prevention. A lot of people in dental have not, grown up with it, and they weren't trained in dental school, to mitigate it. And so it's something that people are really opening their eyes to and going, we gotta make sure our patients are safe and do something about it.
What was your marketing strategy for ProEdge when you were working at the agency?
Yeah, so at the time they were ProEdge Dental Products, and the CEO and founder is kind of an engineer in mind and has a great, he can identify great products and great markets and build that. But in 2015 and 2016, there were two major outbreaks in Anaheim and Atlanta. And that brought a ton of attention to this space, and so they decided they wanted to rebrand. And so my philosophy in that is, and actually your chief of staff said similar today. It's not about putting a lipstick on a pig, or it's IRL, right? It's in real life. So what is the essence of this organization? What are they really trying to accomplish, and how do you capture that and express that in the most compelling and authentic way? And so in that process, you go through a deep discovery phase, and you're talking to vendors, and you're talking to customers, and you're talking to staff, and I just loved what ProEdge was about, and it was way less about becoming the biggest and the baddest, or making as much money or any of that. It was about helping dental professionals be successful at taking care of their patients in an area they don't really know how to do that for the most part, and so. We to the marketing strategy or the brand strategy, it's really just about capturing the heart of the people in the building. and expressing that. And so, in a lot of ways, I think it mirrors what MB2 does, in that it's about, hey, let me educate you about the problem or the challenge. Let me give you some of those solutions and do everything we can to make you successful. We always say, you didn't get into dentistry to clean water lines, right? No. If you didn't get in, you didn't start out in dental. You definitely didn't want to do plumbing in dental,
Right.
But we did, and so let us carry the burden. Let us carry the all the ins and outs, and don't worry about that. Let's just make this as simple as we can, so that you can get back to doing what you do best, which is dentistry.
What I think is cool about that story is you started with this very philanthropic mission with mentorship and nonprofits, and it's easy to see why a transition would have happened for you if you're supporting a company like ProEdge that allows you to really express that part of yourself and doing a job as well.
Well, business is just people working with people for other people. And so whether it's, kids stuck in motels on East Colfax in Denver, Colorado, or it's the dental assistant who's trained on the job and is worried about whether she's going to get yelled at today, which, I know wouldn't be at MB2, but it happens a lot in dentistry. There's an opportunity to empower somebody and uplift them and make them successful with tools and resources and education, and so it's really no different. And the same goes internally, right? I mean, for ProEdge as a team and our culture, we invest heavily from that perspective. We say, if it doesn't work at home, don't take it out on the road, and we build from the inside out. And so we want our team to be that healthy, and where we've got a group of people, a small community inside our headquarters that are serving each other's success and doing whatever it takes to see the other person growing and achieving their goals and for the collective mission. So we're doing that internally, and then hopefully our customers are experiencing that, and again, then the patients that sit in all these chairs are more protected, and that's you and that's me, and that's our community.
That's no doubt. And I think you've already highlighted, there's a ton of parallels with how the perspective, I think, on the MB2, like MB2 as an organization, and how we're supporting our partners who then reciprocate that to the patients. It's treating people the right way and doing the right thing, and long-term success will come. If you're doing that, everybody here, and it starts with Dr. B, firmly believes that. And I think we've seen that over the last 18 years as an organization, and certainly over the last year as a partner of ProEdge.
Well, and you can see it. I mean, being here today, you can see it in the generosity of spirit. You can see it in the joy of the faces of walking around and seeing the cubicles. You can see it in how it transitions down into, the chief of staff doesn't have an office and works among the team, right? I mean, it's not just a social media page that looks like a culture that is thriving. It's a group of people that is, and that takes such intentional effort and sacrifice, and hey, let's get back to our values, or let's get back to our mission, and make sure what we're doing is aligned with that. It's not an easy task, and I hope you guys see how cool it is to work at MB2 and in a place that is really thriving.
Yeah, we've both been here a decent amount of time. Sarah's been here longer than I have, but starting from day one, you just walk in and you're like, oh, this is not normal.
Yeah, right.
Definitely not normal.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to your story.
Yeah.
You got to ProEdge in
As a marketing manager.
As a marketing manager in 2018.
Yeah.
We understand you had kind of an interesting, call it your first sales call or your first meeting. Walk us through that experience.
Yeah, I'd say first year and a half was pretty interesting. I came in as product marketing manager, and before my interview, I had to look up what product marketing was.
Yep.
And then I got here, and they were like, you need to put together a promotion schedule. And I was like, what is a promotion schedule? Right, my whole background had been in content and brand.
I can totally promote the schedule if that's what I need to do.
But yeah, jumped in, and there was so much to learn. And it was, again, when you're a part of a team that's passionate about what they're doing, and there's so much energy and And so jumped in and learned as much as I could, and just started asking for more responsibility. And I'd have success in this area and say, hey, can I play in that space? And got some more responsibility and more opportunity. And at one point, we were having a little bit of a challenge reaching one of the large DSOs that were a customer of ours, and they were struggling. We were struggling. There wasn't a great relationship, and we weren't delivering for them, and we didn't quite understand why. And DSOs back in 2018, 2019, for a very small organization at the time, we didn't totally understand the space and what the unique needs were, and
Right.
and I didn't know. I didn't know what a promotion schedule was. So
Well, you did now.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
You learned.
anyway, I was asked by the CEO to kind of jump in there and see what I could do, and so started to try and build that relationship a little bit. Ended up getting an opportunity to go down and fly down to see this very large DSO, one of the big three, and get my PowerPoint slide all together, and I'm feeling good and a little nervous, and walk into this beautiful building and big mission on the wall, and it feels all like big business to me.
Is that what it feels like here?
No.
Yeah. Okay. It's like I don't know that our mission's on the wall.
I mean,
More swag.
Had you
Yes.
been here not too long ago, you'd have walked through a foam gun or foam machine
Yeah, I heard
to
about
get
that.
here. So there you go. It's about as anti-big mission on the wall.
Yes, and beautifully so. But sat down with this, director of compliance and the VP of procurement, and pleasantries, whatever, and get the PowerPoint up on the screen, get into it. And about 3 minutes in, hand goes across the table, and we went with somebody else, right? And it was this
I am so glad I'm here. You couldn't have sent that in an email.
Well, and again, I'm not a sales professional by trade. I had some background in it previous to the nonprofit work I did, and there's plenty of development work in that. But what do you do?
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that one. That was not part of the presentation or the scenario planning of what we thought they'd bring. But so it was very eye-opening, and probably didn't handle it terribly, with a whole lot of savvy, but got through it. Went out of there and was just like, ooh, that was rough. But it really taught us a lot and completely changed the trajectory of our business in many ways. And it allows us to be in a place where we're serving MB2 with a lot more, I think, intention and capability, and all the supports that a larger organization needs from a vendor, and just really helped us build who we are so that the customer could be successful.
What I really like about that story is sitting in that moment where you're like, game time, baby, and you're getting started and somebody throws you a curveball. In my experience in those situations, I don't realize how wacky it is until after. So you're kind of sitting in that moment going off of pure adrenaline and gut instinct. And I think that is the point in which you kind of see where your drive or your character lies, because it would have certain people in the adrenaline and gut instinct are just going to walk out.
Yeah.
And then other people are going to be like, can I still show you my slides that I made, please? You know what I mean? And it's a good indicator of your gut instinct in a situation like that.
Yeah, so we did finish the presentation. They did let me do that. And what we were able to show them in that was that we were starting to get a better understanding of what they needed and starting to build it. And it ended up taking us a few years to really get there, but that customer is back and now says things like, we wish every vendor was like you.
That's cool.
And, JT, you said earlier, right, that MB2 is all about this partnership and making the partner successful. And there's such a focus on that. Again, similar with ProEdge, we built all of this specifically for what that customer needed and that problem and the giant gap that we had between what they needed and what we were able to provide. So, that customer feedback was super important, as humbling as it was and as awkward as it was and painful for my first experience with sitting in a boardroom with a DSO, was ultimately good.
Yeah, that's a really cool story arc there, where it is like, hey, we're going to plant the seed and kind of take it like this stings, but we're planting the seed. We're going to come back. They saw it. That relationship clearly stayed. At least you continue to develop that relationship, and they're back.
Well, and there's a level of your success that can be contributed to that. And I think that that's one of the things that I've seen in the experience with MB2's vendor partnerships is partnerships with our vendors. So saying, hey, this may not work as it is, but here's how it can be helpful. And it's almost creating the framework of something that can be really successful and can be more copied and pasted if you have a partner that you can understand where the shortcomings are. So in that situation where you're like, okay, we failed at this partnership, but we learned enough on how to be successful in the next one.
Well, again, right, I mean, a lot of the business books will overcomplicate this, but again, it's people working with other people in service to other people. And so if you listen to the customer and really understand what their needs and their desires and where they're trying to go and what their goals are, and you're able to come alongside and solve some problems or, remove some obstacles, you're valuable. And so that's absolutely what we've thrown ourselves into, and excited to now be the largest dental water lab in the world.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. The fact that you say that so emphatically, like the world, I think that's so cool.
Well, it's a little bit
no.
sarcastic.
I'm not going to let you short sell that. It is the world. And all the undergrounders are hearing this.
Okay,
they know that we have the
deal.
Preeminent dental water lab
Of the world.
of the world.
Well-
of the universe, actually.
Well, I do say that somewhat jokingly because, but we met with the CDC actually about 9 months ago.
That's awesome.
And they're rewriting or plan to rewrite their CDC guidelines for the first time since 2003, and water lines are the number one thing motivating that.
Is that concerning? The first time since 2003? Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, I'll let you guys discuss that on another podcast.
That could be the next podcast, Sarah.
How do we get the CDC in here? Sorry, continue.
They sat down with us, and I didn't know if they'd be heavy-handed or what kind of their approach would be, and they one of the premier experts in dental unit water lines is participating with them and helping them write the water line parts of these guidelines, and they sat down and basically were like, okay, tell us everything you know.
Oh, nice.
And it's because we have the largest data set on dental unit water line and all of these products and what works, what doesn't work, again, in the world.
Yeah.
And so this is a relatively new area of infection prevention, and ProEdge is getting to lead the way.
I have to imagine that COVID heightened everything. Did you all see a big pop in business or interest through and like just after COVID?
It was more because when you shut down for a while, those lines are sitting stagnant.
They get icky.
Yeah, it's no different than if you have a dog at home and you leave the water in the bowl for a few days. You come back, and if you touch the inside of that bowl or your water bottles or whatever, right? It's
Which
gross.
is so wild to me because I have to clean my water bottle so often, and it's just water. Like, it shouldn't be dirty. It's supposed to clean anyway. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Your Keurig, your refrigerator. A lot of times the filters too. Like when we in our lab, we want to grow really great, big, beautiful bacteria for marketing photos. We use our Brita filter.
Oh my gosh!
And so a lot of these filter systems are not actually right. They're taking minerals and deposits and that sort of thing out, but they're not cleaning the water. But you think pure, that's pristine. There's nothing in it, and that's not really true. And some of these filters are actually, carbon-based, which is food for bacteria, and it actually feeds it and exacerbates it, and so it can get.
I've never actually thought
gross.
about that.
What is your at-home water filtration system like? As somebody who does water stuff.
Well, that's a whole new world for me. I just moved into a new house, and it's well water, and so.
Well water?
Yeah, we're on a well,
Okay.
and so straight from the
There's
ground.
still wells?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Lots of them.
Cool.
And so we're not, it's not a city plant that's treating it, and so we've had to investigate a lot of that. And that world is just it's the same sort of wild, wild west that honestly dental has been for a while.
That's cool. I introed you as the president.
Mm-hmm.
You started as a marketing team lead or a marketing manager.
Yeah.
How?
Yes. Great minds. How?
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 Ask for more responsibility. Don't ask for titles or money. Ask for more responsibility, and that's what I did. Had opportunity. Right, you're a small organization and you're growing. There's always so many challenges. We don't have departments for that and people for this, and an outside team that does that. It's just all hands on deck. And so, like that situation with the DSO, when I'm not, classically trained in sales, I want that opportunity. I want to sit in front of them, and I'll take that risk. And that wasn't my only sales call, and we had a few other successful ones. And so, just grew from there. I think I have some capabilities, but I work for a phenomenal CEO. I have a phenomenal team, when you, I think, support other people and put the focus on them and what they can achieve, and just get out of their way, give them the resources that they need, they'll go through a brick wall for you. And
Kool-Aid man, that hoe, if you will.
That one I don't know.
The Kool-Aid man? Oh, yeah.
He just would bust through the wall.
Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Kool-Aid man.
See, you got all these really cool references that I'm just not hip and.
This is from the 90s.
Yeah, I remember the Kool-Aid man.
But you've got young kids, so
Yeah.
you one of these days will be like me, where they come home with words and phrases, and you're like, "All right, time out. Help me understand." I now
Is
officially.
Urban Dictionary still a thing? Can you use that?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I hope my kids haven't found Urban Dictionary yet. They're too
Dark
young.
place.
But
Well, when I started at ProEdge, I was the young guy,
I know the feeling.
and now we're hiring Gen Z, and they're already doing stuff that I don't understand, and it's scary. Getting old.
You do you. So the journey from marketing manager to president, if I were to summarize it, one of my favorite things I've ever heard, or one of the quotes I always go back to, I think it was Steve Jobs at a commencement speech at Stanford. He said, bite off more than you can chew and then chew it. It sounds like that's basically what you lived out. You said, hey, give me that, give me this, give me that, give me this, to the point where you became the dependable guy who knew all the facets of the business. And now it's, hey, guess what, Kelley, you know all the facets of the business, lead it.
You worked your way into job security.
Yeah, this was never the plan, right? I mean, I was going to live in nonprofits the rest of my life, and I left there going, I have no marketable skills. So I didn't go get an MBA. I didn't, I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know if Dr. V knows what he's doing. He's doing it really well. But, right, you're just you're solving problems and put people, right, the right people in the right seats, and you're creating value for people. I think a lot of times, again, the business books, right, can overcomplicate it all. Create value.
Yeah.
Listen to what your customers need. It's not
take great care of your people.
That's right. It's not that hard.
No.
At the core.
It's
not that
complex.
complicated, but it's hard.
It's really hard.
That's actually a better way of saying it.
You're welcome.
It's
Thank you, Sarah. That's why we're a team.
I don't know that I don't know that there's anything harder, right? But it's very simple. The hard part is keeping your focus on the right stuff and not getting distracted by all the other things, whether that's revenue or, your ego or.
I was going to say taking the mistakes as lessons instead of, some sort of indication of value, and just letting it hit that ego side and call it quits.
Yep.
You can take something from it and learn and do different. It all gets a lot easier.
Well, and all the inspiring stories, right? They're all full of hiccups or mistakes or failures or, times when the weather looks dark and it's like, how are they going to get through this? And we want to avoid all that. We want to take the shortcut and somehow see that our journey to success is not going to look like that. And so, you just keep going. Keep doing the right thing.
One of the what I think is cool about your position now, you said you grew up, you clearly told us, like you have a heart for not-for-profit organizations or nonprofits. Now, as a president, I understand you've been able to kind of come full circle and incorporate some of that into the organization. Talk a little bit about, this may surprise Sarah, the wells of the world.
What?
So you just mentioned wells and well water.
No, I understood that, but I don't get the. Anyway, good one.
So
tell us about your involvement in Uganda.
Well, to both wells
I'm
to
back.
connect that, right? I think everybody thinks that we take for granted in America that our water is going to be safe, and all around the world, including in America, you got to clean the water. It doesn't just come out of the ground pristine and perfect all the time, and so. So ProEdge has been able to, so ProEdge partnered with an organization about 2 years ago. We started, and the CEO and founder, just met a woman, I think, somewhat haphazardly, and she was building wells in Uganda, and he learned all about this and saw, right, that safe water wasn't just a dental problem; it was a global problem, and it was impacting all sorts of people in all sorts of ways. And so he ended up building 2 wells and got to go out to Uganda and open them and saw the just absolute joy. And each well that's opened in Uganda serves about, gives clean water to about 1,500 people in remote villages. And there's villages upon villages upon villages that do not still today in 2025 have access to safe water. And so this last year, he invited the team at ProEdge to get involved and raise money. And he said, I'll match whatever you guys raise. And so the team was able to raise enough money for 2 wells. This summer, we're actually going to send 2 teammates who applied through this process and a +1 to go to Uganda, and they're going to open it, the new wells that we raised, hopefully have a life-changing experience. What we're doing in Uganda is the same work that we're doing here, and that's providing safety to people that need it, right? People that are vulnerable, people that are trusting other people that the water is going to be safe. And so whether we do that with our products here in dental or we do that around the world, it's worthy work.
Well, isn't that amazing?
I can't think of a water pun. Gosh, I tried. I really did. Well, Kelley, before we let you go, I mentioned you've got kids. As a dad, I'm curious, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Well, it's got to be Frozen, right?
I was about to say, should we just let it go?
I mean, I sing it every time it comes on.
Well, I
Can
thought...
you give us a bar?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
This is totally going to be...
So I'm totally that guy who will do this.
Yeah, please.
I don't even know if I know the words.
Yeah,
but
you do.
Let it go. Let it go. Come on, give me some.
Can't hold me back anymore. Let it go. Why is
Let
it
it
two
go.
men sitting in here singing this? Where are you, Sarah?
Because I have all the power.
Oh, gosh. Well, isn't that coincidental? I mean, I know Frozen's huge, but a movie about water that's frozen.
Wow. Whoa.
There you go. There
Well-
you go.
Well,
There
freezing
you
actually
go.
kills the bacteria. So yeah.
Okay. How about that?
There you go.
Very cool.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, Kelley. Love the partnership. A ton of parallels, like we've mentioned, and we're excited to see what you guys continue to do.
Yeah,
And
sorry, we got to flow on out of here.
just moving right downstream. MB2 Undergrounders, we are at the conclusion of our episode. We look forward to next time. Take care.
Well, well, well.
Peace.